We're back in Glasgow, Scotland, where the COP26 UN Climate Change Conference is taking place live on the ground for Arise News. Is LAILA JOHNSON-SALAMI. And thank you so much, LAILA. Loud and clear on both sides of the Atlantic where we are right now. Thank you so much. It's good morning here from Lagos, Nigeria. What do you make of South Africa's president's comments regarding the position of South Africa, one of the largest carbon emitter in the world? Bring me up to speed.
Lovely to speak to you as well, Bosun. I mean, this is a huge wake-up call for many developing nations. When you hear that there's going to be the defunding of fossil fuel projects, when you run an economy like South Africa, that 77% of their energy is reliant on coal, you know that you have to start transitioning. Now, President Cyril Ramaphosa came out with very, very strong and stark points, but what he said, in my opinion, is pretty fair. In order for South Africa to transition to become a lower carbon economy, they do need help with climate financing. At the end of the day, we know that developed nations have contributed the most to carbon emissions, and therefore, in order for us all to move forward, in order for climate action to actually be equal and fair, climate financing is needed for several developing nations and emerging markets, including South Africa.
Interesting where South Africa's position is as the most industrialized and advanced economy on the African continent. But President Buhari will be speaking any moment from now within the hour. He will be addressing delegates at the COP summit any minute. What position is Nigeria expected to have in terms of climate financing, considering the huge energy gap that Nigeria needs to fix?
Absolutely. The president is set to speak between 11:45 a.m. and 12 o'clock p.m. Obviously, that could change, but that's the time that we have right now. The position that we're expecting Nigeria to take over the next few days is quite a straightforward one. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo had come out to state that Nigeria needs $400 billion in order for us to transition into a cleaner energy economy, into a renewable energy economy. And I believe that the Nigerian government is here to negotiate and to see how much we can get. Now, as we know, the goal of $100 billion in climate financing from developed nations to developing has never been achieved. One country alone needs $400 billion by 2050 in order to ensure that by 2050 we're running on renewable energy. I believe that President Muhammadu Buhari is looking at options such as mini hydro power plants across the country. Also, nuclear energy is something that has certainly also come up. These are transitional sources of energy that Nigeria is looking at as a middle gap as we transition. Obviously, we cannot go from relying on fossil fuels to absolutely nothing overnight, and there has to be a middle ground. So I believe that the Nigerian government is here to try and negotiate and to see how we can focus on things like nuclear energy, mini hydro power plants. I believe the Kanji Dam that we have in Nigeria is a mini hydro power plant, but we need several mini hydro power plants in order for us to get to where we need to get to. It cannot happen overnight, and I think that point is clear. This is also being echoed by several other developing nations who are coming out here and saying the same thing. We are here to secure climate financing, and climate financing is certainly fair. Like I said earlier, developed nations have contributed the most to carbon emissions, and we are the ones who are bearing the brunt in countries like Nigeria. So that is exactly what the president is expected to be speaking about. And I believe he's also going to be sharing a lot on Nigeria's progress, how much is going on in Nigeria in terms of us already trying to transition. That's where we're at.
Yes, there's going to be a whole lot talk there between the leaders, and you'll be listening to the world's biggest energy companies and others and the environmentalists as well, and all of that. Some big sound bites you'll be making there. Thank you very much for being on the ground. You've got about 10 more days ahead of you. So in terms of who else is bringing money to the table aside the world leaders, what about the business world?
Absolutely. I mean, if I got your question correctly, except for the world leaders, I mean, you do have private donors here. For example, Jeff Bezos has a $10 million Earth Fund that's meant to go into projects that are revolving around climate action. So you do have funds that are not necessarily related to government, but funds that Nigeria can certainly tap into if we propose the right projects that are sustainable and actually show that we are ready to do this, which I believe we are. The government is here, the government is serious, the Nigerian delegates are not playing around, and we know exactly what we need to achieve to get to where we need to be.
Interesting so much. LAILA JOHNSON-SALAMI, our correspondent in Glasgow, Scotland, for the United Nations Climate Change Conference. Thank you so much. We'll get back to you here on the show and throughout the day.